this, I mean, put your toilet seat down, just little things
Flush
like that.
Make sure.
This is why I keep her around. This is why I keep her around.
Flush it.
Just flush
Hey,
it.
some people might need that.
Hey, I get it.
When you clean your bathroom, this is how you start. Yeah. But I think, just cleaning, but also at the same time, it doesn't have to be that stressful.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean.
But
that
we're all working for the same goal.
Yeah.
We are all working to get you the highest and best return and get your home sold in whatever market we're in. It's always our best goal.
But yeah, just clean your home. And smells are huge, I think. Just
Yes.
no fish tacos.
Together, we're Barb and Katie. We're partners. We love to work together, and hopefully we're going to give you some information that's worthwhile.
Barb and Katie. Today we're going to be talking about what things do I need to do as a homeowner to prepare my home for sale.
Great. Such a good question, and so many people are concerned about that as sellers, especially this time of year. It's so funny because, interestingly enough, we went this morning at 8 o'clock to a client's house who's going to be listing their house for sale the first part of March, and they just wanted us to walk through it with them to kind of talk about where we see they should be focusing their time, money, and where they're going to get the best return.
And this was after different conversations we've already had. This was, the very last appointment before we're doing our marketing and things like that. So it did start way back when they first came to us to talk about listing their home. What do you think is the number one question that clients ask us when they call us and have us come out for the first time?
I think they want to know what they need to keep and what they don't need to keep, because I think they get a little overwhelmed with maybe they've been in the home for 10 years, 15, 20, or even just 1 or 2. We can accumulate lots of stuff. And people just are concerned about, what do I need? What should I keep? What shouldn't I keep? Also, what do I do with what I don't want to necessarily have in my home at the time of sale? And what are my options?
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people focus on maybe projects that they need to do, and as we go through and we talk to people, yes, number one, just start packing. You're going to pack it, if you don't need it, just start putting it away, put things in closets, put it in your garage. No one really cares about those spaces. That's not true. People do care about them, but it's okay to put your stuff there.
Yep.
But people seem to focus on, do I need to paint this? Do I need to? And that usually isn't where we start. We want people just to start putting away their personal items, start not decluttering so much, but just, kind of think about what you don't need.
Right.
And then we can kind of see the rest of the house.
Right.
Then we go back and we are
depersonalize.
Yes.
I think is important.
Yeah.
And it can be overwhelming as well for people. And what I think is interesting too, another question that clients always tend to ask is, when's the best time for me to sell my house? And we always think spring, because that's kind of what we're fed. But really the best time, Katie and I were just saying, is when you're ready. It's the best time. Yeah. And when you're starting the thought process, you're getting yourself ready. Like, you're getting yourself amped up. And the more you can do to move in that direction, the more energy you're going to be putting in that direction.
Well, I think it's a really interesting question, because we're talking about what our clients want to know what to do to sell their home, but it's a psychological part too. To start, so we start there, and then here, step 1.
Yep.
And we meet with our clients and go over, this is going to be the process. Step 2 is, then we go back and talk about maybe touching up paint.
Yep. Or staging.
Or moving items out, and where could they go? What is going to make their home show the best to a buyer?
Right. And photograph the best.
Yes.
That's important, because we always bring in the photography crew and video crew. And when a home is lived in versus when a home is photographed, they're two totally different things.
Right.
So we want it to look and appeal to all the buyers that see it online versus how you like to live in your home personally.
And trying not to look at it from your own standpoint. We do try to tell our clients that think about it if you were walking into a home.
Right.
So, you're not buying this home, you're
Right.
selling it. And So we try to.
But packing up starts to depersonalize it for them.
Yeah.
And I think that then it becomes less of a home and more of a house.
So other things, what do you think the second most important thing is when it comes to getting the most return value out of when you're about to sell your home?
Well, I think too, people worry about landscaping and, first impression is huge.
Okay.
It is. Curb appeal, it's very important. But it doesn't have to be as big scale as maybe you might think it is. Some fresh mulch, some fresh plantings, a clean porch, a clean front door, a freshly painted front door is always really nice versus painting the house if it doesn't need it. Just freshen it up.
Doesn't need to be a huge overhaul.
Right.
It just needs to, as someone's walking up, it needs to be inviting.
Yep.
So I think we have a lot of clients that think they need to spend a lot of money on that, and it doesn't always have to be a lot of money.
Yeah. The less money that if they can spend, we try and make that happen.
Right. Yeah. And then as we go through and we look, as we're going through the house, I think obviously
Less is more.
That's our favorite thing. People don't always like to hear that,
Less
but
is
less
more.
is more. And then I think paint touch-up is really important.
Fresh paint can go a long way.
A very long way. Carpet, if the flooring, but a lot of times people want to come in and do their own thing. So we have to talk about that usually with our clients.
Yeah, that's more specific depending on what type.
Right. And clients ask a lot about like doing some remodels. Like it's not always worth their money
Right.
to put money into a kitchen or a bathroom.
And it might be more time consuming versus getting it on the market when the market might be good. It might be better for them to go ahead and just freshen it up a bit, save that project that you've been thinking about doing for 3 to 5 years yourself, and just letting a new buyer take over.
Coming in and do what they want because they probably will anyway, even if you do put something in.
Right.
The other thing that we were talking about when we were talking about this question is there's certain things that you have to do no matter what that will come up when you're selling
good point.
home.
Yep.
So someone's going to ask about the roof.
Service the furnace
Service the furnace.
if you haven't had it done within a year.
And if you have a septic.
Pump your septic if it hasn't been done within a calendar year.
In Thurston County, Pierce County, and I'm not sure about, but there are different things that you have to do no matter what when you sell your home.
Yep.
And so you might as well just go ahead and do those up front because you will have to attend to that later.
Right.
I think the roof comes up a lot. If
Yes.
you don't know the age of a roof, find out. It's always nice. Or have it cleaned, have your gutters cleaned.
Yep.
That's kind of part, of the curb appeal. But what was the other one that we were talking about when it comes to no matter what, these are the things that are going to come up.
I don't remember. Furnace, I think, is big.
Maybe that's
HVAC system is like your whole HVAC system. AC, heat pump, furnace, service it. Septic, pump it.
Oh, and well, if you have a well, you can get your water tested.
Get your water tested. Be able to provide those things to any sort of interested buyer because that just shows you are a conscientious seller, for one, and you're ready.
And it takes time. When you do a water test, and it's different in different counties, but when you do a water test, it could be up to 10 days. And if you only have 10 days to get for your home inspection,
Just be proactive.
Yep.
I think as a seller, that's huge.
I'm trying to think of the other things that we listed off that were most important.
What about repairs? Say you have a crack in your driveway or maybe a crack in the wall. Should you go ahead and get that repaired before you list your home? Or is that something you should wait to do?
If you have a crack in your driveway and it's unsafe, if someone could trip and hurt themselves, so if it's significant, then we would recommend, yes, do that because of liability and for safety features. Whether like a crack in a wall, again, it really kind of just depends on the severity of it. It's, what we see as homeowners versus what a buyer might be looking at through their eyes can really be different things. So that's where it's really key and important to kind of hire a professional to kind of walk through and talk about it and maybe make a list of things that you have questions about, like what about this and this and this, and then we can kind of go through and say worth it, not worth it, worth it.
So that is a really good question and one that we answer all the time because what you might think is important as a seller, we were just with a client last week and what they thought was very important, really
The outdoor shower.
an outdoor shower needed a repair, and yet they have this most magnificent view of Mount Rainier, and one of the windows is failed. And so a failed window doesn't mean it doesn't work. It just is cloudy. And so that's something we would suggest. So if it's something also that there are a lot of things in a home that you don't have to repair to make it safe.
You just have to disclose it.
You have to disclose it. But that's where we like to go through and help clients with.
Where is it best for you to spend your money getting your house ready for the market so we can get the highest and best return?
But there are certain, if the faucet doesn't work, if your stove doesn't work, if there's certain things that are major mechanical items.
Everything mechanical should be working
Right.
in good working order if you have that ability. And if you don't have the ability to make that happen, we can still help you. I mean, there's just ways to work around that.
Yeah.
With disclosing.
And having another reason to have someone come in and kind of help walk through. Just think about an electrical panel. If it's a really old electrical panel, it's something that, or if it's a recalled electrical panel, just to be aware of the things that if you can't do it, that we'll usually have to deal with it on the other side when there's a home inspection. So.
What about if a homeowner has pets and they're getting ready to list their home for sale? Any specific action items they should take?
Well, it's as hard as it is on us as homeowners to sell homes, it's also hard on our pets. So that's something that we don't take lightly. We look at odor, carpet, flooring. Has there been any damage? How is the home going to be the most accessible? Meaning, like when you do put it to the open market, are people able to walk through it easily? Or, we don't want to disrupt the pets, so that can be a little tricky.
We usually try to not have showings when pets are around, if that's, one of the things. But we always have that discussion with our clients, what will be the best for them and
the pet.
And for the pet. But getting ready to list your home, and if you have a pet and there are odors, that is something that we would recommend that you take care of. And there's certain things that you can do, paint, carpet cleaning. There's some different, what is the odor one that
Kills.
Yeah, so there are different things that we would recommend, but as far as just showing your house when you have a pet, it can be very difficult. So we just have to work around that.
Are there any specific seasonal things that you think need to be done to prepare your home? Like, say right now we're in January. What if I know I want to list my home in June? Are there things I should be doing now to prepare me for June that might be relevant, like in this season where it's a little bit cooler, that could set me up for success come June?
I would think just, we talked about,
like we said, servicing your furnace, just having your mechanical items looked at by a professional to be able to, inspect them and service them, like your furnace, HVAC, AC unit.
one of the other things, one of the things that happens in a home inspection is that they go under your
Check your crawl space
for water. So this time of year,
That's
with
important.
all
Good
of
point.
the rain, that it's a huge deal if there's water in your crawl space and you need to know where it's coming from, and if you can remedy that before someone has a home inspection. That also, I think this time of year there tends to be a lot of moss, and if you're looking at listing in the spring, then pressure washing, getting the moss off. There's certain times of the year that it's better to do that. It has to be a little bit drier, so preemptively just kind of knowing that, okay, as soon as it dries out, then they can come and they can do that.
Yeah, getting in your crawl space, that's a good point.
It's a really big deal.
Especially because it rains so much here, obviously, in the Northwest.
We always say that's the best time to buy a house.
It's the best time to buy a house in the winter in the Northwest, just
because
to see
then
how the water runs.
Yes, absolutely. And where the pockets of water are, if there is going to be water, and then being able to remedy that.
Sometimes sellers like to have home inspections done prior to putting their house on the market. That way they bring in a neutral party, have a home inspection done, which can run, depending on the size of your home,
$700 to $1,000, called a pre-inspection.
Have that done. That way you can look at everything that they find. That doesn't mean that another inspector won't find something different, because it's subjective. But it can give sellers a great tool to work from. And it also, if sellers choose to, they can provide it to buyers saying, look, we've already had these things looked at. This is what we knew was going on, and this is what we've done to
Well,
correct
and
it.
actually, the crawl space would be a perfect
Exactly.
example. It's we already had someone
Yeah.
go into the crawl space. We had the vapor barrier put down, or if they're already rodent activity, it's already been taken
It's
care
already
of.
been
And
taken
so,
care of.
not that your home inspector wouldn't do the same thing, but when they go down there, they know that it's already been taken care of.
Right, and it's such a nominal fee.
Correct, comparatively, yes.
Can you talk about if maybe there's been work or maintenance or maybe some new building done on a property that maybe you did it yourself? You didn't hire a contractor.
So if you have something that was done and it wasn't permitted,
Sure.
It
Yeah,
just-
that or maybe like a hobby job that you did in your own home that
A
made
home-
it more
a home
livable
job?
for you. Yeah, a DIY. What are there any precautionary things that sellers should do?
they just need to know that if you did do something and it wasn't permitted, it just has to be disclosed, and it's asked on the Form 17, the disclosure statement. But it does have to be disclosed.
I
And
think it's important though if a homeowner starts a project and kind of leaves it halfway through, which that just happens all the time because life happens. I think finish it. You know,
Yes.
either and probably depending on the level of skill of the homeowner, it might be better to finish it with a professional, or it might be better for them to finish it themselves. We don't like to see things kind of half done.
Okay, disclosure is good to know if you have those projects that
Mm-hmm.
were not permitted.
Right. Yeah. I think that not having, and that does come up. I mean, I was just talking to another agent the other day. It was saying that their client bought an entire 4,500 square foot house and found out it wasn't permitted, which is okay. Just means it has to be disclosed. It doesn't mean anything's wrong with the home. Or if something was done by a DIY, then those things are okay just as long as it's disclosed.
I think that's
I mean, we can talk about now that the holidays are over, it might be important to take your holiday lights down if you're going to be selling your house soon. I mean, I think that's key. I mean, be aware of your season and try and cater your home to the masses. So, you know, like what we said in the beginning, depersonalize. It goes on every level. I love Christmas lights, but we're coming into February. So if you're going to be selling your house, let's take them down.
Take almost everything that you can out of your home that you don't use
Yes.
when you're about
You're
to
going to be
list.
very uncomfortable for a little bit of time.
Yes, and that's okay. And so obviously, and for photographs, we can take a coffee pot and move it away. But you know, if you love to cook and you have all of your pots and pans displayed, as I do,
It can be
you
distracting to
put it
buyers.
away. So I think that
Oh, here's something we always say. I forgot to mention this. We always say to sellers, take down the personal because you don't want buyers focusing on your family and like focusing on your taste and your style. We want them focusing on the property, the home, the structure, the floor plan, does this work, the yard. You know, we don't want them spending all their time looking at your family photos, which is a natural tendency to do as a human because we want to see how it feels.
Another thing to speak to that is there are some people that love color in their home. Color is so personal. So when we were talking about painting, if we walk into a home that has a lot of different colors,
Mural on the ceiling.
mural on the ceiling,
Just had one.
you know, or you know, someone likes a red kitchen.
I
Not-
had one.
So did I. That's what I said. I would just say though, not everyone wants that, and
No,
that's
and
what
paint
people
can
are,
be so inexpensive. So
Yes.
and it can go a long way. So
Yeah.
again,
I think
depersonalize, take yourself you've already decided that you're gonna move. So start moving.
so neutral.
Yeah.
Just yes, so start moving now. Yeah.
Start moving.
But so yeah, so I think start there, have a professional come in, talk about the things that would most benefit you to
Get the highest return.
the highest return.
And
what
the most
you might
and the most viewings, the most
Right.
showings. You want your house to be you want it to appeal to as many possible buyers there are. So you want to get as many people through that door.
yeah, and just having someone help you determine what needs to be done and what doesn't need
schedule
to be
and
done.
plan, and it's overwhelming. So
Yeah.
the more you work
That's
with
our favorite part of our
that is
job.
our favorite part of our
It's
job.
like,
Getting
we
a
can
house
do that.
ready.
Barb always says, we can do as much or as little as you would like us to do. And then all of a sudden she'll look at me and she'll be like, I know I'm being controlling. But, but it is. It's true. It's those things. I mean, we have the resources. That's the other people get so overwhelmed when they're about to sell their house. They're like, I've lived here for 30 years. What do we do? And we have so many resources.
Yeah,
We've
because they're doctors, engineers, lawyers. they own a grocery store, they work at a gas station.
Or think about last year,
they don't sell real estate. They're not thinking about this all the time.
We helped maybe 3 or 4 people that had been living in their homes for over 35 years, and their spouses maybe had passed away. It was time for them to move on, and they had to completely move 35, 40 years of their home, and we helped them, from getting someone to come pack for them maybe. We help them with repairs. We have the list of resources from the contractors, painters, getting new glass.
We've got great people.
You have someone that does screen doors. Yeah. So I think that there is a huge list. Number one, when you're going to sell your home, you really want to talk to a professional first.
Good. What about once the home is already listed and you are having showings, cleaning your home? If you're still living in the home while you're showing it, how do you recommend homeowners manage that? Because they still have to live in the space, but they also want it to be presented the best way it possibly can.
Well, that's tricky. It's hard. That's part of a stress of a homeowner selling their house, and we recognize that and are very empathetic to that. So we'll make plans. Like sometimes if you are actively living in your home and if you have animals or small children, we'll say, we'd like 2 hours notice before a showing. If that gives that homeowner enough time to prep the house again for taking off the coffee pot, cleaning up the kid toys, putting away the dog bowl. We believe in hiding stuff.
Yes.
So
a lot of times
hiding stuff in closets and garages is perfect.
A lot of times when we're looking at the photos with our clients, this is kind of the expectation we have when the house is going to be shown, and we tell them that it's okay to hide things. They're just during that time, and prepping our clients with this is kind of our expectation, because we pretend that you're walking in as a buyer. What do you want to see and what don't you want to see?
Right.
And walking over some,
Right. And we always say in the beginning, we don't want to come across offensive when we suggest take it down, remove it, take it down, remove it.
We're not trying to,
we're not trying to hurt any feelings. We're just trying to, help you in the best way that we know, but it can come across a bit.
Yes, but I mean, maybe, obviously keeping your bathrooms clean, keeping your kitchen clean.
Keeping your kitchen sink empty.
Yeah.
Take your garbage out. We don't want any smells.
Yeah, no smells. So maybe just not a lot of heavy cooking during that time.
Mm-hmm.
If you make fish tacos, maybe put that off if you're going to have a showing. The smells can linger, and people are very, very aware of that.
Very sensitive to smells.
If you live on a busy road, close your windows. So just some things that maybe you wouldn't think about, but people say bake cookies, but people do like good smells. Also, light smells.
No plug-ins.
No plug-ins and no heavy candles.
No.
People are very sensitive.
People have allergies.
So yeah, but I think that put your toilet seat down. Just little things like that.
Flush it.
This is why I keep her around. This is why I keep her around.
Flush it.
Just flush it.
Some people might need that.
Hey,
I
get it.
When you clean your bathroom, this is how you start. Yeah. But I think just cleaning, but also at the same time, it doesn't have to be that stressful.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean.
But
that
we're all working for the same goal.
Yeah.
We are all working to get you the highest and best return and get your home sold in whatever market we're in. It's always our best goal.
But yeah, just clean your home, and smells are huge. I think
yes.
No fish tacos.
No fish tacos.
They linger for a week.